the great secret, the key that unlocks the doors of wisdom, happiness, and truth, retold in the Tao of Pu, originally written by Zhuang Sua. Consciousness wandered north to the land of the dark waters and climbed the unnoticeable slope where he met the speechless non-doer. I have 3 questions for you, consciousness said. First, what thoughts and efforts will lead us to understanding the Tao? Second, where must we go, and what must we do to find peace in the Tao? Third, from what point must we start, and which road must we follow in order to reach the Tao? Speechless, non-doer gave him no answer. Consciousness traveled south to the land of the bright ocean and climbed the mountain of certainty, where he saw impulsive speechmaker. He asked him the same questions. Here are the answers, impulsive speechmaker replied. But as soon as he started to speak, he became confused and forgot what he was talking about. Consciousness returned to the palace and asked the Yellow Emperor, who told him, to have no thought and put forth no effort is the first step toward understanding the Tao. To go nowhere and to do nothing is the first step toward finding peace in the Tao. To start from no point and follow no road is the first step toward reaching the Tao.
But first we're going to talk about the Tao. Now the Tao actually means the way or the path. And it's that indefinable, harmonious power that flows throughout the entire universe. It flows through all things, living, non-living. And the main goal of Taoism is to be in harmony with that flow, with the Tao, the life source. From Lao Tzu, we hear this: rather than a great tree resisting the wind and sometimes breaking, we should become like bamboo, yielding and supple. Then the wind will flow through unhindered, and bamboo will not break. So we're called to do that very same thing. Just allow life to happen through and around us, and we just go with the flow. How many of us do that every single day of our life? No. I try, and it doesn't always happen. And it's a process. It's about becoming consciously aware of doing that, of just allowing life to happen. The Tao is that mysterious natural order of the universe. And interestingly, the sages, over the many thousands of years, have what they've most often said about the Tao is that nothing can be said about it. Irony? Now, Pu, as in Winnie the, Benjamin Hoff explains in this book what a great Taoist that Pooh Bear is, because he lives his life consistent with the principles of Taoism. What are those? Allowing life to happen as it comes. Practicing non-resistance, just being completely present in each and every moment, experiencing the empty mind syndrome. Living every single moment to the fullest extent and being very present with it. Who doesn't have any preconceived ideas about how life is supposed to show up or what's supposed to happen? He's open to all of it, and he just allows it to happen. And my favorite thing about him is that today is always his favorite day. Have you noticed that?
That's true.
It is true. Today's always his favorite day. Ask him anytime. Now that great secret that Sue read about, to have no thought and to put no effort, is the first step toward understanding the Tao. To have no thought. We can't get in our head and understand it. We need to feel it. We need to experience it. We can't read books and understand it. You must be in it. Make sense? To go nowhere, to do nothing, is that first step toward finding peace in the Tao. We have to quit trying so hard. Trying so hard to get somewhere. Because this isn't about getting somewhere. It's about being. And to start from no point and follow no road is the first step toward reaching the Tao. What does that mean? That means we don't have to follow necessarily a list of rules and regulations to be in the flow with life. We don't have to follow someone else's ideas of how to do it and do it right. We get to make up our own rules as we go along because we all have the capacity to do that, to know what's right, to know what feels right, to know what's right for us. Now, those things are very easy to do in its purest form, but, practice, practice, practice. Understanding, finding peace, and reaching the Tao make up that secret that they talk about. And that secret, they say, unlocks the door of wisdom, of happiness, of truth. Now, the way certainly includes a spiritual path. And it infers a heck of a lot more than only that. It's that force that moves all things, that permeates all things, that governs all things. The way can't be manipulated. It can't be resisted. It can be resisted, not without consequences to ourselves, right? It's not worth it sometimes to resist the way. And since it's considered to have those indescribable qualities that prevent it from being defined, prevent it from being expressed in words, when you name it, when you categorize it, it loses its meaning. It slips through your fingers. Again, it's about the experience. It's not about the understanding and the knowing. So it's not considered to be a name for a thing. It's a reference to the natural order of existence. It's a particular way of appreciating, of learning from, and working with whatever happens in our everyday life and being okay with it. Just like poo when he died. Lao Tzu told us we must yield to Tao to be happy, to surrender to the way things are. We will reach happiness when we accept everything just as it is. We attain serenity, he says, when we no longer wish for something else. I'll be happy when. I'll be happy if. We need to let all that go. The idea is to be happy right now, with this moment as it is. So, one thing I love about Common Ground is we can be anything we want, any day we want. Have you ever noticed that? Sometimes we're Hindu, in October usually, or we can be Native American, or we can be whatever it is we want to be because we celebrate all of it. And so what we're going to do right now is, in your head, I want you to take this quiz to see if you're a Taoist. And here's how you're going to know. You might be a Taoist if you describe yourself as spiritual and not religious. If you believe that you can behave ethically without religious rules and guidelines. If you think that people should spend less time worrying about the meaning of life and more time living it. If you see yourself as just another part of the natural world, like a bird or a rock or a stream. If you don't believe that there's an all-powerful, all-knowing God who listens to everyone's prayers and responds only to those he deems worthy. If you're an agnostic or an atheist, you were probably a Taoist. If you understand that good and evil are human, not divine definitions, If you believe that no one, no religion, no philosopher, no charismatic leader knows the true answer. If you don't believe that you have done anything you need salvation for. If you believe in living in the moment, not dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. If you try not to be one of those people persuaded to spend money that they don't have on things they don't need to create impressions that won't last on people they don't care about. Whoa. You could be a Taoist if your definition of creationism is that man created gods. If you prefer to go with the flow, slipping like water around all types of physical and mental obstacles. If you know when you have enough and you don't need a lot. If you believe that whatever happens, happens. If you love your fellow beings, human and non-human, and just want to see all of us get along and take care of this beautiful planet. If you value others not only for their similarities, but for their differences. If you think someone doesn't approve of gay marriage, then they shouldn't have one. Took me a minute, too. The path to enlightenment can only be found within. If you can see that you're living the perfect life for you in a perfectly designed universe. And if you understand that a journey of 1,000 steps begins with that first one. In short, if you can conceive of an unnameable, infinite power that has always existed, that powers the universe, that holds all the molecules together, makes the flowers bloom, makes the birds sing, your heartbeat allows the sun to shine and to rain and fall both on good and bad, all without putting any demands on the recipients or having that need to be worshipped or even acknowledged, then you might be a Taoist. How'd you guys do? Pretty good, huh? See, we really can be all of it. It's absolutely possible. But the important thing there is we don't need a label. We can just be who we are. I just thought that was kind of fun. People often ask how you become a Taoist. What books do you read? What temples do you attend? Lao Fu, I believe is his name, forgive me if I mispronounced it, he said this: you don't become a Taoist, you just realize that Taoist is a name for what you already are. So you're not going anywhere to get there. You don't have to do that. It's about that realization within. This is who I am. One of the things I really appreciate about Taoism is that the concept of intentionally working in harmony with all of our life circumstances. Do I do it all the time? Not necessarily. Do I try to do it all the time? Absolutely. Because we want to understand and accept life as it is. We all know what happens when we resist. Doesn't change anything out here, but boy, it sure does in here. And it doesn't feel so good. So it's simply about shifting our thinking. Shifting the negative into the positive. Not pretending things don't exist by any means. Just changing the way we look at it so we can enjoy every moment of our day. And do so without struggle. Understanding, recognizing that that bitterness, that unhappiness that we carry around come from our ego. From that interfering and ungrateful mind. Pooh gets that too. He knows and allows, he knows the importance and allows life to be just as it is. He's very present moment. There's a story in this book that I really like. It's Tigger's birthday. And so, but you gotta love Tigger, am I right? Anyway, it's Tigger's birthday, and Pooh said, oh my gosh, I want to take Tigger something really special. So I know I'll take him a jar of honey. Who knew that was coming, right? And so he grabs a jar of honey and he starts walking toward Tigger's house. And so he's walking, lollygagging probably, and he starts smelling the flowers. So he sits down and he gets hungry. So he eats the honey. What else are you supposed to do, right? He's hungry, he eats the honey. Well, as he's doing that, he completely forgets why he is where he is and where he's going. And it doesn't matter because he is so enjoying that honey. So by the time he finishes out the jar, he went, oh yeah, I'm going to Tigger's for his birthday with his jar of honey. The honey's gone. What will I do? I know. I'm going to give Tigger an empty container for his birthday because everyone needs an empty container. He can put things in it. And so he got back up and started walking. Well, Piglet was also on his way to Tigger's. He had a balloon. Well, Piglet tripped and fell and popped the balloon. So by the time he gets to Tigger's house, Pooh says, it's perfect. Because Piglet's got the remnants of the balloon, right? Pooh's like, it's perfect. Now he has things to put in his empty container. You see, they made lemonade. The simplicity and the beauty and the love and the appreciation in that is what is so important. No stress, no worries. You take things as it comes. We so complicate our lives, don't we, by that stress and by that worry. We sweat the small stuff a lot of the times. And here's a good one. I always say, like, in 5 years from now, who's going to care? Who's going to know? And you know what? In 5 minutes from now, half of the stuff that we worry and stress over won't even be important. It's incidental. But stressing over, why did we eat that honey? We knew darn good and well that was a birthday present. Ba, 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 ba. Anybody else have that little crazy person in your head?
Yes.
Why are we so selfish? And on and on and on. It doesn't matter. Be in the moment and just be with it. Are any of you familiar with the man who calls himself Slow-Mo down in San Diego? No. Oh. This guy is awesome. He lives like Pooh. His name is Slow-Mo. His real name is Dr. John Kitchen. And he quit a medical career to pursue his passion. And what was his passion? To rollerblade in San Diego on the boardwalk at Pacific Beach. That's his passion. That's what he really wanted to do. He's 71 years old now. And he's been doing this for about 7 years. 20 years ago, he came across a 92-year-old man in the cafeteria at the hospital. And this man was just a little old guy, just smiling. So Slow-Mo asked him, just for fun, how does a person like me live to be your age and happy like you? And the little old man looked at him and he said, do what you want. Well, Dr. Kitchen thought, oh, this guy's a little nuts. But okay, thank you for your time. And that stuck with him. Carried on with his successful career, working day and night to attain personal satisfaction through wealth, through material possessions. So he went to college, had a successful career. He got married, they had a son, they got divorced, and working. And he's going through his life and he's feeling empty, and he's feeling unsatisfied, and he's feeling like he's missing something. And all this time, he's thinking to himself, do what you want to do. The old man said so. Time goes by, and he begins having trouble with his eyesight. And he's suffering from this affliction where he couldn't recognize faces. Isn't that interesting? I'd never heard of that. Anyway, life made the decision for him because he couldn't be a doctor and not see. Wouldn't work on me, I'll tell you what. So he had to retire. And it was time to do what he wanted to do. And what he wanted to do was be on that boardwalk day and night. It's funny because there's like a 16, 17 minute, I don't think it's on YouTube, it's on something, but a clip, an interview, and they were interviewing people on the beach. And people on the beach would say, I don't know who this guy is, I think he's homeless, I think he's crazy. I mean, all these people had these different opinions, right? And he loves it. He's just smiling through this whole thing. What he's done is he's perfected a style of skating that keeps him in balance. And it's actually helping his affliction. So you can see he's on one leg, and he gets to it, and he goes so slowly. It's amazing. He said it puts him in the zone. And that's where he ponders those questions, those eternal questions. This is his way of connecting with the Tao, of being in that simplicity. He loves life. He loves skating. Not sorry for a minute that he left the medical profession. He lives, instead of a mansion, he lives in a studio apartment. Very small. Has what he needs only. And when he's not skating, he's writing music, he's writing books, he's creating. And that's what he does. Do what you want. He's not living someone else's life anymore. There is simplicity in the natural power of the universe. And when that simplicity is altered, something gets lost. That's why so many of the traditions tell us to be like little children again. And that's where we get that joy. Simplicity, when it's expressed in its true form, is freedom. It is wisdom. And that's where we find those childlike aspects. Life is supposed to be fun. We are supposed to do what we want to do. Now, most of us can't afford to quit our job and go live at the beach. Wouldn't that be lovely? However, maybe there is something that you want to do, that you can flow with life and do. Find ways to balance the simple and the complex in your everyday life. Find the simple and the quiet. Find the natural and the plain. Seek to experience spontaneity without brushing it off, even though it wasn't maybe in your original plan. Things change. I want to close with an excerpt from the Tao of Pu. He writes, "The masters of life know the way, for they listen to that voice within, the voice of wisdom and simplicity, beyond cleverness, beyond knowledge. That voice has been given to everyone. Within each of us, there is an owl of knowledge, a rabbit of cleverness, Eeyore the complainer, and a Pu. For a long time, we've chosen the way of owl and rabbit, and then, like Eeyore, we complain about the results. If we're smart, we'll choose the way of Pu. As if from far away, it calls to us with the voice of a child's mind. It may be hard to hear at times. However, without it, we will never find our way through the forest of real life." And so I invite you to come to know who you are. Open up to that power within, to the way. Learn what you're capable of. And when you do that, it will guide you to recognize your vulnerabilities and your constraints, and at the same time, it will grow your potentials and your possibilities. Thank you so much for being here while I shared this truth as I understand it.